Welcome back to Sports First, number one in sports. I am your host, Sabotage. We are back with another episode of NFL plus fantasy. Let's get right into it. Last week we was talking about the chances of Dolphins making the playoffs, and they have skyrocketed as of or ever since what was it Monday when they lost to the Patriots of Philadelphia. So they lost to they as in the Bills lost to the Patriots, and they also just lost to the Buccaneers back to back. They lost to Belichick and Brady. Ain't that crazy? But Josh Allen had a really good game. I wouldn't say in the beginning. I mean, if he would have had a really good game in the beginning of the game, it would be a different game. 36 for 50. Well, 36 for 54 attempts for 36. Completed 308 yards, two touchdowns, one INT. I don't even remember seeing the INTs, to be honest. I don't know how that even went down, but it must have been when I walked away for a little bit. But their running game just other than Josh Allen, as you could see right here with this 12 carries for 109 and the one touchdown. I don't know, like 2 weeks ago, it was 3 weeks ago. It looked like when they brought in Matt Breida that he was going to be the one that's going to start up the running for them. And then last week they had Moss, which is, I don't know, this team, you don't know who's going to really do the running work, as in the running back area, because it's just all over the place. Because Singletary, I mean, these numbers are pretty bad for any. I don't know if any other team had less running, run as in running the ball. This is kind of a problem, or has been a problem for the Buffalo Billiards. I mean, obviously for Josh, it's not really that big of a deal or problem, but for some reason they just can't keep or make it happen with any of these guys. I mean, they'll have their 52 yards is pretty good for 4 attempts, but during the game it didn't seem like that. That was the case. I guess they're not. I guess their passing game is pretty good actually. Their defense is really what the main thing that held them up for so long until they couldn't themselves. Um, but yeah, I mean in the beginning they pretty much it looked like it did look like it was about to be a blowout, as you can see right here. 17-3 before or after the half, and then pretty much ended the same way it was. Is well actually one more score. With them. Oh well, yeah. See, that's the overtime. I'm tripping. I was wondering. I'm like, what's that extra column right there? That's the overtime column. Um, but yeah, pretty much each team, had their half, and the most important half, I guess they showed up, but still, they just didn't do what they were supposed to do and close out the game, which I felt like they could have. I mean, the way they were doing everything, but then again, Josh Allen it looked like he was injured. I don't know what kind of it was, it ankle, knee, or whatever, but it was obviously the lower body. But yeah, that didn't look too good for him. Let's go ahead and go to the Fantasy King. It was Mr. Allen, Dr. Allen, Josh Allen. So like I said, if you had him in fantasy, it was a good day today, but I don't know how it's going to look for the rest of the season because he was limping. But that second half was really good for him. So there you go. That's your Fantasy King. The Thursday night, I mean, as you can see, it's only by 22 points, like not 22 full points, or 0.22 points, or 0.20 actually. So that's you could technically say that's in a way a tie. And George Kittle wasn't that off from both of them. George Kittle is back, ladies and gentlemen. He's been killing it, even though he has some one of those straps on his shoulder. I've been noticing a lot of NFL players been putting those straps on. Baker has one on his shoulder also. There's probably one or two other players that have it too, but Forgetting on them. Tyler Lockett had a pretty decent game. Russell Wilson actually went back to playing really well. One surprise player is Rashad Penny. I actually did a card video on Rashad. Well, not specifically on Rashad Penny, but it was a whole bunch of cards, and I brought up Rashad Penny, or I had a Rashad Penny. I have a couple of them actually, and I mentioned like what happened to this dude. I think he was the second round. He was a pretty decently high draft pick. I guess what was holding him back was the injuries and everything. I didn't know that because they just Seattle just has so many different running backs. I'm like totally forgetting about their main running back. Who is it? He had the neck injury this year. My buddy in fantasy picked him up and tried trading me, but I just wasn't trusting him because he was. I'll find it real quick. Yeah, see, he dropped him, so I can't even really see him right now. Who is it? Yeah, forget about that. It's a different story for a different day. Nigel Harris had a pretty good day. Andrews had a pretty decent day. Brady, as usual, this year is probably, I think he might be number one in fantasy points for Gotti picks, which is kind of surprising. And look at that, the Chiefs defense with 25 points. Isn't that a shocker, ladies and gentlemen? But it shouldn't be because they've been playing really good football the last 4 or 5 weeks, ever since Chris Jonas' brother came back and started playing. They've been playing some awesome football as a defense, as the offense is much better than it was a couple weeks, 5-6 weeks ago. But it's not like they've been bad to me. I mean, as long as you get your wins, that's what really matters. 6-game winning streak for them, 5 for the Dolphins. So I mean, like I was saying about that Bill situation. So let's look at that little bit more closer. So they got like 3 games left. I don't think they got a bye left. Yeah, so they got the Panthers, Patriots. Ooh, that's going to be dangerous, won't they? These are all, the Falcons, I'm sure they didn't win their game. Wait, did they? It was them against the Panthers. Yeah, they actually did win. I don't know, weird game. We'll go ahead and get into that game, a little bit into that game. Weird game that was. Cam Newton getting a lot of playing time, and also P.J. Walker. We'll look at their numbers: 6 for 12 and 15 for 23. Both had interception and 1 touchdown from P.J. Walker, but the rushing, that was the key for old boy Cam Newton. 10 carries for 47. Chuba, 33 yards, 10 also from him, and a touchdown from him as well. Amir Abdullah has been used a little bit more on this or in this offense, but not enough to, be a fantasy guy. DJ Moore just still doing his thing, even though he's been playing with technically 3 different quarterbacks this whole year. So shout outs to DJ. I ended up trading him away because I just didn't like what was happening. But then again, it was, I got Patty Mahomes. It didn't pay off. It still hasn't paid off. The trade I did with him and Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I gave both of them and Cam Newton for Patty Mahomes. I didn't realize that the Chiefs were having a bye week while I did the trade. I was just so happy to get Pat. I was just dumb decision making because if I would have kept him and then traded the next week, then it would have been a decent trade. Not even then it would have been a decent trade because they still have been all of those players have put up decent numbers. DJ Moore's still putting up okay numbers. Clyde has been putting up okay numbers ever since he came back. And Cam Newton's not too bad. He had one bad game, but still. And I did have to face Josh Allen today, which wasn't so great. And I had to face Leonard Fournette, even though I was expecting Leonard to start off really good with that 30-yarder and then kind of slowed down. DB Samuels, I thought he wasn't going to play. I was also facing him, but that didn't work out too good. We got the Bears Packers today at 7:20, as you see right there. Then we got Rams Cardinals tomorrow. Daniel Jones is still out for the Giants, so the Chargers took advantage of their non-existent offense and just pretty much gave it to the defense. Even though I believe this New York Giants defense would be pretty good if they had an offense that could put up some points themselves. Broncos technically still in the or they still have a chance to not the greatest chance, but similar to the Dolphins, they have a chance. I mean, we could look at that, see their next games. It might actually be a better chance than them Dolphins. But yeah, there you go. It's actually not the greatest, but they, as long as they, if they can find a way to beat the Chargers. But I mean, do you really? I don't really see them beating all three of these teams. Chargers, Bengals, and Chiefs, but they have a good defense. But these two right here, probably the hard. I mean, that's two top quarterbacks plus, well, actually three top quarterbacks plus one. Could you say Derek Carr's mediocre or mid level? I mean, I don't know. He hasn't been so great. I mean, he was pretty good. He was actually really good during the beginning of the season, but he hasn't been so great as of late. But I don't know how much of that you could put on him or the coaching or whatever. You know how John Gruden left and he lost one of his wide receivers, but still, great quarterbacks, I guess, show who they really is during hard times. I mean, you still plus he's lost Darrell Walker, so I'm not gonna blame him for anything right now. That is. I don't even know if the Raiders are going to bring him back, to be honest, because I think there's only 1 year left on his contract. Saints ended up getting a win. I honestly thought Taysom Hill was going to be the king of fantasy with his 11 and 2 rushing touchdowns. Let's see where Taysom Hill actually stands. Oh, there he is. He's top 10 in that fantasy area with 26.3. I mean, I'm wondering what messed up his there's no interceptions. I don't see a fumble, or I don't remember a fumble. Maybe it's a low amount of passing yardage, but 11 for 73. Josh did have the 100. Was it 100? More than 100? 109. Yeah, I already said how much he had, but still. But that man, Rashad Penny was looking nice out there. His younger brother also got a touchdown. Is it Elijah Penny? Did he play for? Was it New York Giants? I think it was New York Giants. I'm not a hundred, but I'm sure it was either them or. Let's just go ahead and say the Giants. How about that? The Eagles had a game off this week, and then another team. I can't put me hands on who's the other team that had a week or a bye week this week. Dolphins. Yeah, I've been talking about them pretty much this whole video, but nope. Timer just went off and all, but trying to keep it short, so I'm gonna go ahead and end it. Thanks for watching. Sabotage.